up, y'all? I'm Benjamin Outdoors, and this is my channel.
Welcome back, y'all. So today we're actually tackling the brake system on the BMW S1000. Now, it's got a lot wrong with it. It's missing brake caliper bolts. It's missing some brake pads. There's no pressure in the front lines, and that could be due to not having pads because the pistons are coming out further than they need to. But I'm just going to flush everything too, make sure everything's good, because potentially if you don't flush your brake lines enough, it can damage your ABS model if you have one. Now, I do not want to know how much these ABS modules cost for these BMWs, but I'm sure it's a lot. Anyway, I'm going to tackle that and hopefully have this thing stopping like a top. Let's get into it. All right, now we're going to put it up on the stand and work on the brakes. Let me pull the calipers off, and I'm going to inspect, see if the rims are good. There's no wobble in the rim. So let's look at the rotors real quick. Rotors are straight. So it looks like the wheel and the rotors are spot on. So we're good to install the brake pads and the bolts. You get a pin you pull this puppy out. Interesting. You might be able to replace these brake pads without having to take them off the actual wheel or the front end. I just pulled that out the back. That's pretty interesting. So I got to compress these pistons. I actually could push them in with my finger. Pull this pin out. Tear open the package. Oops. So this is how I did it. I ended up using 2 old brake pads, put them in, basically used a screwdriver, something to pry, and put the new ones in, and then put a screwdriver back in, something that's kind of got some thickness to it, and then did the same thing on the bottom. And so when those, because it's pushing fluid back through here, which would normally push these further in, so you have to basically make a space in there and basically block it so it can't push in any further. And so then I put these in here, and then obviously pried again, push those out, and so now it's pushing the fluid back up into the reservoir. So now I can put 2 more in here, pull the screwdriver out. Now I'm going to put the clip back on with the pin, hook the bottom end, push the pin in. So those are both locked in. I should be able to slide it on. Nice. Now I'm gonna go get the bolts. And after I'm done with the other side, I'll tighten these up. Still not enough space. Ooh, shoot. This piston just slid out. But pull the caliper off, try to slide this piston back in. Don't really want to disassemble everything. Ooh, so I got the piston back in. Might as well push these all in at the same time. I could put the caliper back together after I clean it up a little bit. A little bit of blue Loctite, not much. All right, they're good. So I'm gonna tighten up the calipers real quick. So now we're gonna start bleeding the system. And I have my new vacuum bleeder right here. So I'm going to attach it, connect it to air. So now everything's hooked up. I'm gonna turn this valve, which is gonna start sucking. Then I'm going to break open the bleeder. And it's gonna start sucking fresh fluid from the reservoir. and I'm gonna probably press the brake lever to try to help it. But this is gonna go through the ABS module right here and then all the way to the front brakes. So it should help protect the ABS module because these can go bad if you don't change your brake fluid often enough. So I'm gonna do this side, make sure I got fresh fluid, and then I'm gonna do on this side. Just make sure I have, you know, fresh fluid and good pressure in both. This is the one that the piston came out of, so I gotta make sure all the air is out of this one for sure. But anyway, I'm gonna put a rag around this, take this keeper off, and then I'm gonna pour some fresh fluid in there now. And I know all too well that this brake fluid is super destructive, so I covered up the odometer because I don't want that cover to get damaged. Turn on the valve. The level's already going down. One thing you gotta make sure you do before you do any of this bleeding is make sure there's not crap in there, which it didn't look like there was, but there is at the bottom. There's some like hardened crap. So I got it pretty low, and now I'm about to try to get some of that crap out. So it's 100% clean now, so I'm going to pour some more fluid in there. Tight. Come to the other side. Oh yeah, there you go. It's stiffening up right there. Don't think that I'll need to bleed from up here, but I think I'll do it anyway. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's super firm. Heck yeah, I'm gonna finish filling it up and then put the cap back on. So I'm gonna bleed the rear brakes now, and the reservoir is kind of in a bad spot. So I'm actually gonna unbolt it and move the reservoir a little bit further out here so it's easier access. I'm gonna zip tie it out here so I can fill it. Now I'm gonna wipe it out, pour more fluid in. All right, so I'm gonna fill it up where it needs to be. Put the cap back on. Then I'm gonna put it back in, and then we'll take everything off when we'll be done with the brakes. So that's gonna be it for this video. I did quite a bit, and I'm pretty happy with the progression so far. The only thing I'm looking for now is a shifter linkage between the actual transmission and the quick shifter. I need to put on the sprocket cover. I flushed the front and rear brakes. The brakes work great. I mean, man, there's so much stopping power up here. Got new brake pads on the front because some of them were missing. New brake caliber bolts in there. The only things I need to do now is swap out the actual bolts here. And it was a pretty successful day. I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, I really appreciate y'all watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And until next time, catch you on the flip side.